about us. My name is Juan Deshawn. We have a guest speaker today, Steve Liang. It's a fantastic topic for you on how to find or the best sources to find off-market deals. So vital information. We get these questions all the time, but unfortunately, that's not my expertise. That's not Quest expertise. So we bring the experts on that field for you during these webinars. So if this is your first time, just a little bit of housekeeping. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit of information on what Quest does and what more events we have coming up for you guys. Keep in mind, we always have free education. So continue to share it on Facebook. If you're watching on Zoom, this is also on Facebook for your replay. And I believe we're also going to keep questions till the end. So if you have any questions for Steve, feel free to go on the chat box. We have Katie Schluter as well on the chat box, helping moderate the situation. Also on Facebook, but also on Zoom, we have the Q&A. So be sure to use that if you have questions throughout the presentation once Steve starts. So I'm going to do it very quickly. I'm going to share my screen. Go over a bit of housekeeping items here. So Steve, just so I see you, can you give me a thumbs up that you see everything on my screen right now? Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So this is one of our webinars. We do many throughout the week, and I'll go over kind of a few of those. But firstly, who is Quest? So if you guys haven't heard about us before, or this is your first time jumping on a webinar because someone told you about it, just keep in mind, we are one of the largest self-directed IRA custodians in Texas. We have about 20,000 active investor clients across the country. We have $2 billion in assets under management. That includes real estate assets, notes, investments in private companies. Some of our clients get very, very creative. We have 100 employees, so we're a fairly small company. We strive on customer service. 34 of those employees are CISPs, Certified IRA Service Professionals. So we definitely excel in the knowledge side of IRAs, myself included in one of those. So we took a test. We kind of proved that, that we know a lot about IRA accounts. We know publication. We know what you can and cannot do. That's kind of our job here, is to make sure we educate you correctly so you can make the best decision. We have $350 million in undirected cash. That's very cool for those individuals who are constantly looking for private money, right? IRA accounts are a great source of lending. Instead of going to banks or hard money lenders. Keep in mind, we just here at Quest alone, we have that much just sitting in cash waiting to be invested. So keep that in mind when you go through here. Disclaimer, Quest Trust Company does not provide tax, legal, or investment advice. We're not endorsing anybody here. What we're trying to do is we're encouraging everybody to educate themselves, learn about different topics in the real estate space, as well as how to do it within an IRA account. But always keep in mind that you should consult with any CPAs that you use when it comes down to taxes, and financial advisors or attorneys as well when it comes down to those sticky situations and deal management. So very quickly, for those who don't know what a self-directed IRA is, the best way I like to explain it is it's no different from an IRA account that you probably already have or you've heard of. The rules and regulations do not change. What changes really is what you can invest into. That's why we put that self-directed term there. It's really for marketing purposes to help people differentiate between an account that may be used for real estate, for example, as opposed to an account that's used for mutual funds, right? So really the big change is what do you invest into? And so here simply at Quest, we handle self-directed only, meaning we only handle private transactions, as opposed to someone like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, which handles publicly traded assets. Some quick benefits that you should be aware of are, one, diversification. A lot of our clients have accounts at Charles Schwab and then have also an account at Quest, or one at Fidelity, one at Quest, right? Because they're doing different things. They're diversifying their portfolio, right? And that way you have eggs in different baskets. You have one in the stock market, you have one in crypto, you got one in real estate, right? So you kind of diversifying the capital you have available to you within your current IRA accounts, within your 401k accounts, or if you should start one, it's a real big benefit. And that kind of leads me to my next one, is because of tax savings, right? So most people are doing investments within IRA accounts or 401k because they provide some sort of tax incentive, either on the front end or the back end. Most of the time, most of America has these buckets of money where they can't touch until retirement. If they do, they will be taxed on the amount. So you don't want that. But you want to take a little bit more control of it, and you want to invest it to grow it a lot larger by using strategies like ones that you're aware of, like real estate, for example, but without paying taxes. And so IRAs, self-directed IRAs, allow you to do that. And you need a company or custodian to hold those assets for you. Another one is social investing. Social investing is kind of an interesting one. The benefit really comes down to when you're investing into local products or local real estate or local investments, you're putting people to work, right? You're stimulating that economy. as opposed to going off and investing into a mutual fund and kind of letting your IRA or your funds rise and dip with the volatility of the market. You can go ahead and impact someone's life. You can loan funds that may build a home, that may put a family in there and tenants, right? You actually can see your money being put to work. And then lastly, I think is the biggest one is invest in what you know best. Investing in what you know best is, if you're a real estate investor, if you flip homes for a living, if you have rental properties, if you're a private money lender on the side, why not apply that same knowledge to your IRA account? With that kind of knowledge, you can almost guarantee yourself a larger return, as opposed to letting someone else maybe control your funds or putting it in the market and hoping it does well. All right. So very quickly, when you're asking, okay, well, what accounts do I need? What accounts can I self-direct? And really all of them, right? All the IRA accounts that you hear of, again, are all the same. We have 7 accounts here at Quest: personal, employer, and specialty plans. Most people have traditional and Roth IRAs. Some people have employer plans, SEP, SIPL, and 401ks. And we also have the HSAs and ESAs. If any of these, you have or you are thinking of having, give us a call. See how maybe you can use those to self-direct as opposed to keep it in the market, or diversify those accounts. If you have a traditional IRA at Fidelity, how can you diversify it further? Maybe have a portion of that be self-directed. So discuss it with us. These are the plans that are available to you. These are IRAs that you can self-direct, and you probably may have it already. Just an example of investment choices. Quest deals a lot of real estate transactions. These are kind of the most common things we see. All right, we split it up into 3 different categories: real estate, private entities, and promissory notes. These are probably the most popular things we see out there. This is not the limit. Really, what you know is the limit. So you can do a lot of different things. And our job is to kind of let you know, how do you go about it with the IRA? How do you do it properly so you don't get in trouble with the IRS? And then to also tell you blatantly, if something's really not allowed because of the law, then we'll let you know. All right, but we're not here to find deals for you. That's why you use still financial advisors or attorneys. So as I mentioned, we offer tons of free education online. So go to our website, check it out. Just to give you an example, these are kind of snippets of our websites here. We have a YouTube channel where we're constantly putting videos up there. They're very short videos, as you can see here: 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Little bit videos touch on different topics and key questions that we constantly get. And we're constantly adding more material there. It'll help you kind of really maybe answer a quick question, or maybe it'll spark more questions. That's when you give us a call. We have our education center that has more classes, about, I would say, 15 to 20 classes that have been pre-recorded on different topics. So definitely check those out as well. We have weekly webinars like the one that you're on today, right? We have Saturday webinars. So we'll have one even this Saturday. And then the one in the bottom right corner here is probably my favorite. So we get a lot of times people asking, well, Juan, how do I find deals? How can I pitch deals? How can I put my money to work if you don't provide those for me? Well, the virtual networking happy hour is kind of how we give back to the community. So we used to do these in person, but now we kind of done it virtually because of COVID and everything. And so what you can do is twice a month on the first and third Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., you jump on a Zoom, and it's moderated by someone at Quest. And you can actually go there and either listen to all the deals actually being pitched, see if one sparks your interest, and pursue it further. Now it's up to you to kind of do that homework, pursue it, ask questions, kind of negotiate with the person that you're discussing this with, but definitely take advantage of that. If you're someone looking for a deal, we always get people looking for people who have IRA money. Don't be shy. Go up there, say, hey, my name is Juan Deshawn. I have recently established an IRA account. Want to get it working? Flood my email with deals, and I'll take a look at them. Right? That way, you have opportunities. You can easily look at them. It doesn't mean you're committing to anything, but it's a good place to kind of jump on. We constantly get anywhere from 50 to 80 people online. Right? So again, happens twice a month. You can go on our website to check it out, to sign up. It's free. It's just a Zoom. So check that out for sure. One big event that we do, most of our events are free, but this one takes a lot of time and effort. We bring a lot of guest speakers out there. We do QuestCon Live. We do this annually now. The next one, April 16th and 17th. So it's a 2-day event. What we do is we bring outside speakers on different topics who are specialized in that topic, and that's kind of what they do for a living. And we'll teach you different strategies. Now this one is going to be a private lending edition. So in the past, we've done kind of more broad thing, but now we've gotten a lot of feedback that people don't want to talk about private lending and what to look for and how to go about it. So if that's you or you're interested, we do have early bird tickets going on for sale right now. Very, very cheap. You get both recording and the event, meaning you don't have to stick around the entire 2 days. You get the recording after for $69. All right. So if you have any questions on that, I believe Katie right now should be adding that to the chat box. You can look at the information on the Eventbrite page, or you can link the information on the Quest website to get more details about that, or give us a call as well. So how do you get in touch with us aside from just shooting us, go to the website and all that? The website does have a chat live box. So you always have a specialist or someone, an actual live person that you can chat with between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Central. All right. So if you have any quick questions, we're happy to help you there. Or we can transfer you departments. If it's something more complex, we'll give you a call. So you can actually live time speak to someone and not have to, call in, or, if you're just on a laptop and want to get a quick answer, that is probably the best way to reach us. You can give us a call, 855-FUN-IRAs, or you can email one of our specialists. IRA specialist at questrust.com goes directly to our entire team, who are all CISPs, can answer your questions. If you're not a client of ours, we can kind of help you decide if this is a good path for you, answer the questions on how we can help you with your current IRA accounts as well, and anything in general, really. So definitely use the IRA specialist at questrust.com email. And then lastly, I always mention, if you're a client of ours already, refer friends, right? Someone out there may not know about this. Tell them to join these webinars. If you refer a friend, we'll give you credit towards your account for the fees, and we'll give them as well. So it's a win-win scenario. There's no limit to how many times you can do this. You can do it unlimited times and just refer the whole world, right? So you let them know. Definitely share this stuff on Facebook. A lot of people don't know that this is out there for them, and a lot of people can really take advantage of it. Now, it might not work for everybody, but there is a big chunk of people who would much rather do a self-directed IRA and just have no idea how to go about it, because it's not the traditional route. No one really teaches that. When you get a job, no one says to do this. You got to kind of go out there and find it yourself. So again, I will say refer. This QR code right here, you can scan it. Again, if you have any questions, or if you can't scan it right now, email us, iraspecialist@questrust.com, and we'll get a schedule going with you, or even myself. So that's really all I have for you. Today we have Steve Liang. So Steve's a friend of mine. He's a kind of a guru when it comes to finding off-market deals. He kind of created his company around that. I'm not going to talk too much about Steve, because I'm sure he's going to tell you guys. But Steve, thank you for your time, and thank you for being here today. So I'm super excited about the presentation, and I'll let you take the floor.
Thank you, Juan. Great introduction. Just wanted to take the time to thank Quest for inviting me to speak here and kind of share what we know. We always enjoy collaborating with Quest. In fact, a lot of our clients are Quest clients too. And a lot of our, clients also learn to support our company's mission and causes, and they have invested in the company through the Quest account. So, throughout the years, we have had a lot of collaboration with Quest. We really love the professionalism with the Quest organization. Always enjoy collaborating with Quest. So, again, very, very glad to be here today, and thank you for being here, everybody. I do want to get to know the audience a little bit. If you could type on chat where you're from, where you're calling from. It could be your city or which state, just so I have an idea of where everybody comes from. In the meantime, I'm also going to post my LinkedIn profile here. Feel free to connect with me if you have any questions. And for the sake of completeness, I'm also going to put my Facebook here too, depending on whichever is your preferred social media platform. So I see a lot of Virginia, Houston, New Jersey, Arizona, thank you. Nashville, Tennessee, New York City, San Antonio, H-Town, that's Houston, McKinney, Texas, that's North Texas, Oklahoma, Illinois, Ohio, Katy, Texas, Kansas City, Maryland, awesome. Columbus, Georgia, we were just there last year. Wisconsin, thank you. Thank you for participating. So now I know everyone is all over the place throughout the United States and looking for deals. And I just see Reno, Nevada. I'm actually from California, so Californians, how we get skiing? We go to Reno for skiing. Okay, so let me share my screen here. and we're gonna get started with the talk. We're gonna talk about the 10 best sources for off-market deals. So just real quick about, I want to share with you about Real Estate IQ. We are a technology and data provider, and we offer these 6 key tools for active investors. So what happens, when it comes to mapping, being able to source deals, there are kind of 2 major categories for finding deals. One is on the market, what we call on the MLS. So MLS stands for multiple listing services. It's where all the houses are being listed on the market. Then on the other side of the category is off-market leads. And a lot of investors are mainly interested in off-market, and we'll talk about the pros and cons in a little bit. So we have MLS Deal Finder, we have Fast CMA, which is a tool that lets you run comps and analyze properties. That's a really important tool because when you're looking for deals, you can work with real estate agents, but the best person to really watch out for your interests and picking the best comps for your analysis is you, the investor. We're still in the middle of going through a house purchase process. And what we find is that when we run our own comps and when our real estate agent run her comps, it's a little bit different. Just because, here when I'm running comps, I'm looking for my best interest. And when you have somebody else running your comms, you also want to kind of look at their side of the interest. So, the best person that looks out for my interests is myself. Off-market leads, County Data Finder is another great way to source deals. We'll talk a little bit about that inside the talk. The next one is skip tracing. Skip tracing is a way of finding contact information of the homeowner. So it's a couple of typical contact information that would be really helpful for our marketing would be emails and phone numbers. If we can find those, it will be really easy to reach these clients, or these homeowners and turn them into sellers. They can sell you the deals. And finally, we have a CRM integration. That's a new product that we have. We have a long waiting list right now. Very excited about this product because now it gives a very integrated way for our client to really market to these properties. So, a whole suite of technology that really helps you locate the deals. Okay, so that's our commercial slide. Thank you for still staying with us. And now we're going to dive into the real content on how to find and win very profitable off-market deals. So what is an investor's biggest problem? I would love to see what everybody thinks. And I'm trying to get used to the full screen and process here. I love engagement, you guys. So I want to hear what everybody thinks. So Sophie says deal or lead, getting deals or leads, finding deals, lead generation, capital, analysis paralysis, prospecting. Absolutely. These are all big problems. Kind of in the front end of the deal sourcing process, the first step is being able to find the deal. The second one is being able to analyze it and making sure we make the right decision on the deal. And finally, it's being able to source. It's being able to fund the deal. It's find and fund. I also have Arnie that says finding an agent in the community that knows the market, very important. Also being able to understand an investor's mindset and being able to kind of assist us as investors. I think that's also extremely crucial. Our survey, amongst our clients and in the real estate investment community, it's the first step is deal sourcing. It's finding the deal. That's the key. It's a starting point of everything else. So let's talk about off-market deals. We want to focus on that and why. So let's talk about the MLS deals first. How many of you agree that the current market right now is piping hot? Just a small anecdote. We were looking at a house here. We live in Dallas, and we're looking at this this property on top of the University Hill in the Irving area. It was on the market for less than 1 day, and there were 20 offers, 20 competing offers. Super hot. It's a I think it was a it's got to be like a 60-year-old home. Everything is on the older side, but you get beautiful views. I suspect the majority of those offers are from Californians, maybe moving to Texas. Two of the biggest growth states right now during 2020, you guys. Is the first one is Texas. Texas, there were 374,000 new residents that moved to Texas between July 2019 to July 2020. That's the first state. The second hottest state is Florida. That had a growth of 241,000 residents. I also see a lot of folks that are remotely investing. We have clients that live in California, but they're remotely investing in Florida. So pretty interesting practice. And there are folks that teach how to do that really well. Actually, a couple of years ago, I met someone who lives in South Korea, South Korea, and he is investing in Dallas. He is doing remote wholesaling in Dallas. Anyway, let's go back here. Pros and cons for deals on the MLS. Lots of properties. Maybe when we say lots of deals, there's a little bit of nomenclature. I want to use the right nomenclature. It's a lot of houses, a lot of properties. We're talking about tens of thousands of properties on the MLS. But there are so many eyeballs looking at the deals. It goes really fast. Occasionally, you can find very good deep discounts. The good thing is that they're ready for purchase. Now, of course, really high competition. A lot of times, within a couple of hours, it goes off the market because everyone is looking at the deals. With the interest rate on kind of historic low range right now, and everybody, with the COVID, everybody stayed at home. Inventory at historical low. Very, very difficult to find deals on the MLS right now. It is it's a seller's market. Off-market leads, lots of investors are very interested in off-market leads because much lower competition. You don't have 10 million people and their mother looking at the MLS looking for deals. These are much more kind of exclusive. You usually need to work very hard or pay for a service in order to get these off-market leads. Much deeper discount because you get to directly negotiate with the seller. Now, of course, it's going to require more advanced skills. These houses are not as easy to find, and they're harder to sell. A lot of times, we do recommend working with training programs, joining coaching programs. In Texas, there's a really good program with Phil and Shanoa, the big dogs. We have a lot of clients that are actually using, that have gone through their program, and they are very good active users of our product, because you got to know how to get trained and gain all those skill sets and do a lot of practice in order to win the off-market deals. So I'm going to get to a point and I'm going to answer some questions. So feel free to type up your questions. So 3 ways to find off-market deals. Number 1, you want to be able to find and contact these motivated sellers. What it is, what we call find and contact the motivated sellers is called outbound marketing. The second one is marketing for the seller to contact you. So it's called inbound marketing. You do a good job in your marketing process. A lot of folks do social media. A lot of folks do mailers. or combination of two. A lot of people do online ads to draw these sellers, and they will call you. So when you get somebody else reaching out to you, it's much better in a lot of ways than you reaching out to somebody else. It's kind of like sometimes I compare marketing to dating, where if you're trying to pursue somebody, you are competing amongst everybody else, or versus the other way around. If you got somebody pursuing you in the dating game, you're in a much better position. Okay, next, the last one is buying from wholesalers. There's a lot of folks that are doing wholesaling, and they want to sell to a fix and flip type of investor or a buy and hold type of investor, and the deal is already there. Obviously, you need to analyze the deal very well, making sure there's good margin on the property. Very important to do the due diligence very well whenever you purchase a property from a wholesaler. So how do you find motivated sellers? There are three key ways. Number one is called driving for dollars. So a lot of times, the folks that are driving for dollars, they will be driving around looking for homes that are dilapidated, like this house here. A lot of tall grass that hasn't been mowed for a while, trees growing kind of I guess untrimmed, unmaintained landscaping. That's usually a sign that maybe there's nobody living in the house anymore, or it could be that the person is under so much distress that maintaining the lawn is not their top priority. So very good opportunity. The second one is to employ bird dogs. So basically you have a network or a team of bird dogs, very experienced investors that I know have 10 to 20 bird dogs, and they basically trained people that want to get into this game to drive for dollars for them. And these bird dogs would bring the deals to you as an investor, and then you can close it, and both of you can win as part of the deal. One of the more common practices that we see is marketing through list. When you work with bird dogs, I guess it's great, but you gotta know how to train your bird dogs and how to manage your bird dogs. So a lot of folks opt for either driving for dollar themselves, or having a more targeted list that you can market to. So you are much more focused in how you're marketing. So different types of motivated seller lists. I have a couple here. I'm just going to show all of them. We have the pre-foreclosure list. This is a list of homes that are going into foreclosure in the upcoming auction. So obviously the motivation is extremely, extremely high. If they don't get their problems resolved, they're going to lose the home. And in a lot of the foreclosure processes, they may lose the home and still owe the lenders money. So it's a very bad situation for them. So if you're able to contact these homeowners and offer a way for them to move out of the house and take care of all these financial obligations for them, it's a very good win-win situation. The appointment of substitute trustee is basically a step in the foreclosure process that's ahead of the pre-foreclosures. So if you want to kind of work a little bit upstream where there are less competition, obviously the motivation is not as high because they are gonna lose their house if things keep progressing, but not in the upcoming foreclosure. A lot of folks really like the appointment of substitute trustee list because it gives them a little more a time to work and gain the deal. List pendants, very similar. So the first four is pretty much the same category, that they're about to lose their home through foreclosure. And list pendants is basically a public notice that says, hey, your house is going to go into foreclosure. You can also buy the house through the auction process, and it will be an auction bidding process. If you're new to the real estate investment game, I would definitely encourage you to do a field trip in these auctions. Different states have different type of auction type of process, and look at your search your county for these foreclosure auctions. Obviously this is the time. We're in the middle of a COVID pandemic right now. Different counties have different policies on when they're still holding foreclosures. You want to look at where we are in your local county to see if they're still holding it. Share of sale, the motivation is they owe taxes. And so if you owe taxes, Uncle Sam wants your house. They'll take your house and then they will sell it through the tax sale auction. So also another source to purchase these properties. A couple of additional ones, divorce. I guess when a couple is going through a divorce, the house or any assets they have is subject to divesting. So a lot of investors are very interested in getting a divorce list to acquire these motivated sellers. Very, very motivated to sell. Eviction filings. So the reason you want to focus on the or market to eviction filings is because there are a lot of accidental landlords who have one couple of tenants in their history. They are not experienced in renting their home. They would probably realize that over time, renting a home and having a tenant, it's quite a bit of work, especially when you have to go through, if this tenant is not paying the rent and you have to go through procedures and filings to evict them. A lot of times these landlords would say, hey, man, I'm done. I never wanted to be a landlord again. I want to sell this house. So a really good source to source motivated sellers, source these deals. We have had a lot of clients that have found a lot of success in evictions. So pay attention to that. The next one is tax or mortgage delinquencies. So if they're delinquent, it would mean that they are in somewhat of a financial distress. So all of these are kind of part of the list. We actually have more in the next slide. And if you can have somewhat of a combination of these, it would be a overlap of motivation, and they would be much more willing to sell if they have more than one. So a couple more motivated seller lists. Probates. So probates are basically a type of filing that that indicates that somebody passed away and the property gets passed down to either the spouse or the kids. And so a lot of times the kids, when they get a house, what are they going to do? Especially when they have multiple kids, it's much better to just sell it and kind of divide the proceeds than holding on to the property. So probate leads are extremely expensive. On the market, it goes for about $3 per lead because they're also very valuable. Co-violations. So you're looking for substandard structures because if the homeowner needs to fix that substandard structure, maybe they just go, man, I got to spend all this money to fix it up. I don't have the money. I may as well sell it. Or you can look for tall grass citations. So that's, again, a sign of dilapidation and low maintenance or no maintenance. All these are signs of motivation, signs of distress. And also you can look for homes that have their water services recently shut off. So it would indicate that either they cannot pay the water bill or they have moved. More ways of finding motivated sellers. Business cards. We have an example in the upcoming slides. Generally, on the card you want to say, I guess a business card is a very great marketing tool. Nowadays, maybe there's a trend for digital business cards. But having physical cards I think still is a great way for marketing. With business cards, it gives, and you pass it out to everybody that you meet. It gives you a lot of opportunities, such as getting referrals from folks that need to move, job change, they need cash to cover medical bills, in which case you're looking for medical liens and people that are behind on mortgage payments. So we highly encourage networking. The more people you know in your network, the more referral sources you have. So Quest has a regular happy hours. I highly recommend doing that. You get a little bit of social lubrication, and you get to know each other. I think that's a really good event to be a part of. And doing pay advertising. A lot of times the budget that goes into pay advertising is a little bit higher. So what people tend to do is they will group together like a co-op, and they can purchase a billboard together or do radio ads, or they can do t-shirts and let me see here, and car magnets. A lot of very common practice amongst real estate investors to get your word out there, get your logo out there, get your name out there, get your phone number out there, so you get different sources of inbound calls. All of these are ways that we recommend using, but also it takes time. Marketing is a farming process, and it takes time for the seed to grow. So just keep doing it. It's a tried and true type of method, as long as you do it right. And it takes time to grow. And then once it starts, it will start coming. So we also want to share with you some online methods of getting these deals. One big source is Craigslist. You can post ads saying that you're looking for deals. You can also search for properties that are for sale. So these are for sale by owner type of deals. You can also create a website. Create a lead capture website. And when you have a website online presence, now you can start, creating funnels to drive leads to your site. So you can use PPC, which is pay-per-click. Social media, use Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can do ads. I definitely recommend, at the very least, creating your social media profile. LinkedIn is a really good one, also that we didn't list here, and also Instagram. We have a class coming up tomorrow at 5:00 where we're teaching how to use Instagram as a way to source deals. So for those who are interested, shoot me an email or contact me on LinkedIn, and I can send you the invitation. And put your website link to all your printed media, including your business cards. You can also go on auction sites to acquire these deals. Typically, when you are sourcing the deals yourself and you are doing the marketing and the person is calling you, you're in a much more powerful position in terms of negotiations, and you tend to be able to get better deals. Whereas if you are going on someone else's website where it gets a lot of eyeballs, you're in a more competitive kind of situation. And so your margin tend to be a little bit lower just because, more demand, you're going to have less margin, less demand, more exclusive deals, you're going to have better margin. So this is an example. Becky is on top of our business development, and she's also a real estate investor. She's in Houston. A lot of folks in Houston probably know Becky very well. And this is her example of her business card. So notice the verbiage that she uses here. We can help you. It's all about who is getting the person that you're marketing to, and how you can help them. So it's all about I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you're marketing, You want to be able to directly talk to the person that you're marketing to, and address their needs. Pay attention to what they need and use the verbiage that solves their problems. It's not about you, it's about them. So door knocking, you can get a door hanger printed out and hang it by the door if nobody answers the door. Or you can drop a card. I have seen folks that have a plastic bag with a card and a printed letter or a handwritten letter. Bandit signs. Bandit signs are not legal in a lot of parts of the country. So make sure you check your local laws. Some investors figure out some loopholes to do that. We do not recommend that. Always check your local legal, get some legal consultation on what you can and cannot do in your local area. A big one is direct mail, and there are two kinds. You can either handwrite your cards or handwrite a letter. You can also print it out. Printing it out is much easier, but sometimes handwriting has a more personal touch. So it all depends on how many you want to market to. If you're just sending it to, say, 50, people, you can probably handwrite it, save you a little money. But if you're sending it out to like 500 people, 1,000 people, then handwriting is not very scalable. So you may want to work with a direct mail company who can do that. So we have an integration where our data is connected to a printer that can print nationally and mail out nationally. So this just becomes a part of your channel, part of your funnel that can source deals. Each of these methods have its own, best practices. So when you're doing direct mail, you want to make sure that you're using the best practices. Don't mail it just once. It's all about mailing consistently. And basically, it's about creating a marketing campaign, testing it out, in small batches first. So you don't need to invest a lot of money when you're just on the experimentation stage. And once you have figured out a way where it works, then you can kind of blow it up, inject more money into that marketing, and you can get more deals. This is a really popular method right now, especially during the COVID season, where there are ringless voicemail tools that you can use. So you drop a voicemail without calling somebody. You can text them. You can send out emails. You can also have cold calling. You can do cold calling with the phone numbers. And this is the key. The deals are all in the follow-up. It takes 17 follow-ups to close the majority of the sales. I don't have the statistics in front of me per se, but on average, it takes about 17 follow-ups, 17 touches. You need many, many touches. So always, always, always follow up. Remember to follow up. If you call, a lot of times when you are, from this deal sourcing standpoint, it's about sales and marketing. And in sales, it's all about in the follow-up. And I think a lot of times when you're just starting in this journey, after a couple of times that people don't pick up their call, we go, they're not interested. I already left a couple of voicemails. They're not getting back to me, and we give up. The point is never give up. If the statistics says 17 times, follow up 20 times. Make sure you get to the point where you want to beat the statistics. So keep following up. It's the deals go to the people that don't give up. A very common question I hear is, how can I contact so many people? It's about how wide the nest you can cast. The more you can cast, the more you can, the more fish you can catch. So a lot of our clients would hire a virtual assistant to help them be more effective with their time. I would advise virtual assistants for folks who have who had already figured out how to win deals. So you kind of have done it. You have done it several times. You have a repeatable system, and then you can hire somebody to do your job. I highly recommend that for any business owner. Don't count on hiring somebody to do something that you don't know how to do. Like that's never gonna be the best. That would be a waste of money. And I think 98 to 99% of the time, you gotta know how the operations goes. You gotta know every single step of how the work gets done before you outsource it to somebody. One key thing is, in operations, you gotta be able to call bullshit. So if you hire somebody and they tell you, hey, this doesn't work or whatever, and you don't know how to do it yourself, you have not proven the way of getting that done, you're going to trust them because you don't have kind of a mental gauge of what it takes to get it done. And that's not a good way to manage your people. So anytime you have to supervise somebody or manage somebody, you gotta know exactly how they're gonna get done, and figure out and actually write down the process. Document it, because have something to hand it to someone, so that they can follow the process. That would be one of the best practices of having a virtual assistant. And they're fantastic because they help you save so much time. A lot of times you can get a virtual assistant for as low as $2 to $3 an hour. The exchange rate to a lot of folks hire in the Philippines, and the exchange rate, USD to United States, the United States dollar to pesos has gone down a little bit. In this short term time period right now, but still, what can you, if you can hire 3-4 people, if you can hire somebody for $3 or $4 an hour, certainly a much better use of your time than to outsource it. Another best practice that I would recommend, I would say, is I think it's on the next slide, is there are many different types of VAs. There are folks that are more of a generalist, and I think their cost is a little bit lower because they can do many things. And maybe in the beginning you want to start with that, because they can help you with quite a few items, and it really uplifts you. It saves you the time, so that you don't have to. So so you can do more things. You can leverage more people, and at the very least, it can elevate you, so you can have some time to think on how to work on your business. There are also specialists. So creating content. I think content creation is very difficult to outsource. You have to do it yourself, but you can hire somebody to manage your content, or social media, for example. Customer support, I think they can be very good. Sales and finance, web development and graphics is a little more specialized. So you would probably need to hire somebody that's a little more of a specialist. And again, you got to figure out how to do it yourself first before you outsource. I think that's very important. And I have so many advice for VAs. At one point, we were at about 140 some VAs. So we have set up several layers of management also in how to manage our virtual assistant. So we have a lot of, lessons learned that we can share. Maybe we'll do another class on that. Is that virtual assistants, they're very good at assisting. So I think in the beginning of your growth, you need a lot of assistance, but you need very good management, and you need to be able to account for how they're spending their time, and you gotta actively manage them. So you would start wearing a manager hat when you have more folks. But again, when you can leverage someone else's time at a very, I guess, budget friendly way, I think there's a really good that's a very good competitive advantage that you can gain. Okay, next. Secrets of how to win the deals. Before I move on, I see we have a couple of questions, but maybe we can move that to a little bit later in the Q&A session. Okay, 3 steps of building a relationship with the seller. That's very important. When somebody calls you through your inbound marketing or even outbound marketing, how do you build a relationship, and how do you establish trust? I think that's extremely important. Deals are not made because of how good you are at marketing. It's about how good you are at building trust with a potential seller. Step 1. You guys ready? Listen. Listen to their situation. Listen to what they have to say. You may have, after you talk to enough people, you can probably start getting very good at categorizing what we call personas of these motivated sellers. What are some of the reasons that they are likely to sell, and what are some of the things that you can do to ease their concerns? And it all comes from listening. It's about active listening. I would recommend actually even taking notes. Just even, I guess, even psychologically, if they can see that you're paying attention to what they have to say, I think that's very important. At least that's my style. Some people go and they don't take notes. There's so many different styles, but I guess if you can show that you're listening and you care, great plus points. The seller very likely would be talking to several potential buyers. We have had a lot of clients that have just one buyer situation, but in a multiple buyer situation, the person that wins the deal is the one that the seller trusts. Listen. And listen more. Ask questions. Show that you care. And that's about having empathy for a fellow human being that have problems. We all have problems. Nobody in this world is 100% happy all the time. If I could share a little bit of kind of Buddhist doctrine, they say that life is suffering, and in a way, it is. We have so many sources that makes us anxious or not feel good in our lives, and it's common. It's everybody. On social media, we see everybody's happy. A lot of times they're showing their best face, but I would say that suffering is kind of universal, and so if we could use that a mindset to really focus on how we can help our fellow human being to get in a better situation. I think that is the key mindset that we need to have whenever we work with a motivated seller. Now, obviously, as we talked about it earlier, there are so many different types of motivation. So I guess over time, when you talk to enough motivated sellers, I think you'll be able to kind of mentally map out the persona of different types of motivated sellers, and then we would know the questions to ask and what to say to build trust. It all comes from practice, and I want to stress that. I can't stress that enough. You gotta practice. You can never I think get really good at it with just the first try, second try. The first time, your first deal is the hardest, and you gotta have a lot of trial and error. You gotta make a lot of mistakes in the beginning in order to get your first one. Now, these are again tried and true business models. We know that it's profitable. You just got to not give up. You just got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. Step 3, you got to hear what they say. So I guess the point that we want to drive here is listen. You gotta make sure that they feel that they're heard, and being able to build the trust. So these are the couple of off-market leads that we offer: co-violation, tax sales, evictions, probate, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, delinquent taxes, and so on and so forth. Loan modification, we didn't talk about this one. There's a lot of refinancing going on. So maybe some folks just need to take some cash out. But there's also a situation where people need to modify their loans in order to, I guess, catch up on what they owe. So that's also a very good source. The one with the asterisk is on our premium list that we have already skip traced. So you would also have email address and phone numbers. I have a question here. List pendants. It is a public notice that to the homeowner that says their house is gonna go into foreclosure. I recommend everybody, if you have notes in front of you, maybe write down the link here. If you want to see a demo or a data consultation, go ahead and go to our website. It's realestateiq.co, and you can request a demo to learn more. Obviously, the off-market leads is just one part of what we offer. We offer you a full suite of integrated tools to help you kind of get your deal sourcing, kick off your deal sourcing practice. Thank you, Haley. We also want to invite everyone to join our community. So we pushed this last year, as we were, I guess, the whole world was, moving to more remote, and we don't have a lot of networking opportunities. So we published the community website as a way to get everybody connected and get a lot of resources when it comes to deal finding and everything you need in your deal finding process. So we visit our website to learn more. We also have blog posts, lots and lots of resources. Listen. Okay, thanks for being here, you guys. We're kind of towards the end. I want to share with you a couple of things. I'll offer you a couple of gifts. Number one is we want to offer you 200 free off-market leads if you would send an email to customerservice@realestateiq.co with the subject line Quest. Right now, we offer our leads in these 4 states: Texas, Florida, Georgia, Utah. If you're in other states, let us know. When we're there, we will contact you. We are in our expansion phase right now. We want to be national and offer our really awesome product suite all over the United States. And we give really good value. So looking forward to establish a relationship with you. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook. I also want to take a moment to share with you guys our passive investments platform. So this is a platform that we are building that matches lenders with folks that have deals. If you fill out the form, we will send you a webinar recording of a new hot trends topic that we just recorded. It's called the Biden effect. What are some of the key policy proposals and upcoming changes that's going to affect our real estate investment game? We talked about the 1031 exchange, opportunity zone, and what kind of housing is, what type of housing is gonna get a lot of administration support. Really cool talk. I think, for the next 4 years, it would be really good to keep track of it. So type this in on your website. I will also share this link on chat in a little bit. What else? Oh, couple of promotions, and then I think we can move on to the Q&A session, or Haley, if you have announcements, I'm more than happy to pass the mic over to you. Good to see you.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see you too. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. I just realized my nice microphone is still in our film room from yesterday, which is on the other side of the office. So we do have some Q&A here. This is a good one from Eric. Eric wants to know, instead of doing the search myself, I would rather work with wholesalers. How do I locate or create a team of wholesalers? Do you have any insight here, kind of compared to these strategies?
Yeah, I would say, one would be going to Quest events. I have been to several Quest events where there are a lot of wholesalers that are pitching their deals. I definitely recommend going to the happy hours and networking events. A couple of big wholesaler firms is Net Worth Realty, and New Western. There are also, obviously a lot of local wholesalers, and it would be through networking. We are also starting an effort of creating a list of wholesalers on our community website. So stay tuned. We would probably be able to get a list for you over time.
Awesome. And then we do have a couple of people asking questions about the VAs, the virtual assistants. How do you find and locate a good quality virtual assistant? Are there any VA companies that you would recommend?
I know of a company called Riva Global. They offer outsourcing, VA staffing services. There's also a Canadian company that I got in touch with that also offers staffing services. We were offering some staffing services earlier last year. We're still in the process of kind of making sure we have a good business model before we offer that service. So it's kind of in a little bit of a hibernation mode. But if you're, looking for one or two virtual assistants, we can probably do that for you as well. This is a very challenging economic time. We also want to do our part in creating jobs and bring more, I guess, injecting more resources in the economy. It will help us here in the United States because it provides all these cost savings and also help creating jobs remotely. I think it's a very nice win-win. So shoot me an email or send me a message on LinkedIn or Facebook. More than happy to make that connection.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then I do just have one more question here. This was actually my own question. I kind of traded off with Juan, popped in about halfway through. And when I came through, you're talking about the motivated seller lists, and there's quite a few of those. Which ones have you found are maybe the most effective? Has that changed over the past year? I know obviously with a lot of us having to change how we do things in between 2020 and now, how has this changed? What's your kind of insight there as far as which motivated seller lists might be the most effective?
That's a fantastic question. As we know that we have the moratorium that delays the eviction and also the forbearance. I think the latest I read is that they pushed the timeline to June, but actually there's talk about pushing the timeline all the way back until the end of the year. I heard September as the time frame also, and also kind of at the end of the year. So, I think very likely they will keep pushing it back. All depends on, this is my opinion only, on the vaccination progress. They don't want to have too many homeless people out there, with the pandemic going around. They want to really control the situation. The folks that have found success, the probate is a really good list. It may sound a little bit morbid, but with the COVID, claiming, I think over 500,000 lives now, it creates a lot of probate type of situation. So I have clients that have found success there. And this is a climate that is very interesting. we have folks that have found success in all these lists, but I think the fact that everybody needs a home right now creates quite a bit of a crunch in terms of housing in general and deals as well. So another thing I want to kind of bring to everyone's attention is this recent winter storm that just swept the United States. A lot of damages that's happening, especially for, I think, area where we're not used to winter storm. Actually, our house, our pipe bursted, and the property that we're looking to acquire, the pool equipment, the pipe bursted, and a lot of drama there. And so I think a lot of potential opportunity there for those that are not in a financial situation that can cover those damages. Obviously, there's a lot of government grants and all that in helping to cover that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gosh, that's so true. And I'm sorry to hear that. I was lucky. I personally did not have any pipes burst, but neighbors left and right. It's pretty crazy what all we went through last week. Just kind of one final note here. We've actually gotten through all of the questions, but you touched on follow-ups and how huge that is. I just want to reiterate that pretty quickly because a lot of you guys watching this, me, I come from a family of investors. My dad has flipped 1,700 plus properties. And I don't remember the exact statistic, but over 60% of their houses that they buy were from leads that were over a month old. So a big part of that business is follow-ups, getting that follow-up system, once a week, once a month, every month for a year, however you guys want to do it. But that follow-up, not only pulling the leads, but those multiple follow-ups is so huge as well. Steve, that's about all I have for today. Before we sign off, do you have any kind of last closing thoughts or piece of advice that you want to leave our audience with for today?
I got a couple more slides. I just wanted to go through it so I don't get a frack from our sales team. So here we have February promotion, realestateIQ.co premium. We have a $1 trial, I think, for 14 days. That's like a really, really awesome deal. I think our team is really trying to kind of push the premium product. Next month, we would be charging the regular price for the premium. So it's not going to be $1 anymore. So everybody, have like 2.5 days to take advantage of this offer. So what's really cool here is you also get a flag for whether a person is deceased or have gone through bankruptcy. So those are really good signals and information that you want to have. And you can also get access to get information of the close relatives. So skip trace is big because nowadays, everything is through online and phone calls. And that's my last slide. Parting words, I think a very interesting time period that we live in. I think we'll be talking about this for many years to come. I think, one thing for everyone to keep in mind is, anytime there's some kind of a big change, and this is a big change for the entire world, we're going to see a lot of repercussions of many things, I think, at all levels that's going to play out in the next 10 years at the very least. So, we can see it as a change that makes us uncomfortable, or we can see it as a change where we can make a change with it and create opportunities ourselves. And I think, to be competitive, it's all about how quickly we can change and how we, from a mindset standpoint, especially how to turn an opportunity, how to turn a crisis into an opportunity. And I think, this is the time of period where it's like all kinds of crises that's happening. So how do we manage all these multiple crises and turn multiple crises into an opportunity? I think that's a skill set that requires a lot of practice. So I want to, I guess, encourage everybody to, look at it on a positive light. All these are challenges in life, and it's necessary because it trains our character and it helps us I guess it helps us change and become a better person every day.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Especially in times like this, it's times, when we all got to come together. I know being in Texas, that happens, almost automatically. It's been really cool to see people come together, kind of like they did after Harvey as well. But Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. Always a lot of great insight and data and lots of resources for you guys out there to hopefully go find more leads, get more deals. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to Steve. Be sure to take advantage of those promotions that they have going on right now. We have put those links there in the chat. And if y'all have any questions for Quest, be sure to reach out to us. Our IRA specialists are always here to help answer your questions for you. We can be reached very easily. Chat live with us through our website at questtrust.com. And if you want to rewatch today's class, as well as any of our other classes that we've recently hosted, be sure to head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of great resources there, and you can rewatch all of our classes as well as our pre-recorded educational videos as well. So Steve, thank you so much for your time today. I'm sure we'll see you later at another event. I know we've got another webinar with you guys. We've got to reschedule from last week. So we'll be in touch. And to any of our attendees out there, I hope y'all have a great day and let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Bye, Steve.
Have a good one, everybody.